Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models, and this is issue 22 of building the T-800, the Terminator. The most legendary cyborg in science fiction history, apparently. It's the half scale. If you've been following along with the build, you'll be aware of what's happening, how we've been going. In this issue, we are connecting the jaw and assembling the head. So we've actually got little brackets. I do like the way they do these little infographic things showing you what you're doing in the red against the background of sort of what you've already got and how it fits together. So yeah, that's really quite cool and interesting. So we have in this issue a big bit, a sprue of several bits, and 3 very tiny little pins, which I shall keep aside. We'll be using those momentarily. Right shoulder, right jaw connector, left jaw connector, and right jaw connector. Very helpful labelling in these things. And jaw pins, 3, 1 spare. Right, what we're doing with this, yeah, cut them off the sprue, attach them together with a pin. Cool, that's quite interesting. That's nice difference to what we've been doing previously. This is obviously something to do with that, I would expect, because it's that sort of size. But I don't know. Maybe that fits. So it goes together. It doesn't go together or anything like that. Maybe that goes through there, or I don't know. We'll worry about that later. That's obviously what we've been building previously, which we're not touching today. So off to there. Right, the sprue. Does it have sides and orientation? It sort of does. Now they don't tell us about how to do this, but we're model makers, we know what we're doing. So what I'm going to do is carefully, using these cutters. Now these cutters are actually very good. They can cut right next to the part with very little sort of chance of damage to the part or anything like that, and it leaves me with a lot less cleanup than cutting off you know, a long way away from the part and having to do lots of sanding and filing and stuff. So I can actually get away with almost no cleanup on these. Being as this is going to be a thing that's attached to the jaw and quite visible, you do want it to look quite nice. So what am I going to use? I have got some sanding sticks, but I've got a small metal file. Although these are plastic parts, sometimes that gives you a better finish. Now I'm not trying to take down very much at all, because this is like a chrome plating. So whatever you file down, you're filing off the plating. So it starts to look a bit rough. Now this will be touched up upon and improved in my forthcoming upgrades and modifications video. There's not going to be much to do this month, I must admit. So yeah, it'll be a quick one. There's a little bit of let's say tidying and weathering to do, and a very little bit of repainting of this, I should think. So probably let's say the shortest one yet. There we go, that's those. Now we will be using tiny tweezers because we're dealing with the tiny things. Let's see what we've got. We've got that bit that looks a lot like that, or is it that bit that looks a lot like that? I think it's that one. I should have kept them both on the same sides, but there we go. We'll worry about that as we come along. We're looking at the picture here to try and keep track. That one is obviously quite easy because that's definitely that one, and that one looks a lot like being that one, which means these two go together, and when they go together that will be like that. and they've got to go onto the face. So let's have a look and see. It's the other one. Let's look at the other one, because that's the side that I've got this laying down on. So we've got that bit is going to go into that hole there and up into that section there. I know I haven't pinned them together yet, but because then that's going that way, which is good. That's what I want. And this bit goes sort of up that nostril area, which that will do with the angles of all of that. So yeah, that's that side, and the other two are the other side. So now I know I've got these the right way round. I can move the magazine off to one side slightly, and we're going to be using one of these pins. We're going to be using two of these pins, but only one for each side. So they give you three because they fully expect one of them to ping off into the middle of nowhere, much like that one tried to. So we've got that. Luckily these tweezers are slightly magnetised as well. So what I'm going to do is try and get that lined up through the first of those holes, then get it lined up through the middle one, and then hopefully it will come through to the third one as well. Let's see, it just says important to remove, it's important not to remove too much material as the joint should be a snug fit. So yeah, just pushing that through. There we go. That's not coming out in a hurry, but that it is sitting like that. That fits into the hole. Does it say to glue it or? Expert tip: insert a needle into the joint as indicated to ensure the holes are aligned. I'd use the pin to do it. When you're happy with the fit, remove it, apply a little super glue to the peg on the end circled and just fit. So yes, it's just the bottom bit that gets glued in place, which is what I assumed was going to be the case. So that's going to be glued in there with those two going in those holes there. So it'll fit together like that. So when that moves, when his jaw does move, they're just going to come out a little bit. Obviously his jaw's going to open a bit more than that. But yeah, I'm happy with that. That works in there. I'll get the other one assembled together and fitted in the other side, and I'll glue them in place, and then we'll see how it all looks together. I'm not going to bother filming that bit. You've just seen it. And there he is, both of them fixed in place. The glue's not set yet, so they still have an amount of wobble to them, but that adds some much needed face furniture to it. All happy with that. The next part in the magazine just says put the faceplate on, so I shall put the faceplate on. It just clips in place, it just sort of pushes in. It's quite a firm fit. You can pick up the entire head with that, and yeah, I wasn't noticing that it was missing, but it looks lovely now it's there. So yeah, I'm happy with those. Got some movement there, and that is the head. That's say the size of it, obviously in a normal size hand, half size. So if it was twice as wide, that would be as wide as a normal skull, because obviously it hasn't got muscle and skin stuff over the top of it. Yeah, so that we're putting aside for later. Obviously, probably next time or the time after, but somewhere around there. And being that this is the end of the 4-weekly delivery, nothing to do with that for the time being. The rest of the magazine, as I always have a flick through, Mad Max. Obviously, that's going back a while. Lots of stuff in there. Desertification. It's just because it's Mad Max, it's sort of deserts and stuff. That's fine. And then we have the back cover. We'll be back in next week's issue. Begin to assemble the right shoulder. So yes, that's where that bit comes into play. That's obviously that probably goes inside it, or I won't guess. Screws and another shouldery piece. So yeah, I put all those bits aside. So we've got let's say a shoulder, a bit more shoulder, the spare pin, which I'm going to keep just in case. Obviously I sorted the screws, and the two bits that I haven't put on there yet because I want to make sure everything works before I glue things in that I can't get back apart again. So yes, thanks for watching. There will be a small update and modification video coming. Not much in it, but some. So stick around, keep an eye out for that in the next few weeks. And then in a month's time, or 3 weeks time, or wherever, depending on when this video actually makes it out, the next issues will arrive and I shall get them built. So thanks for watching. It's coming together. It's definitely looking a bit scary. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for more. Bye bye.